What's going on, guys, and welcome back to is my sound working? I do believe it is. Welcome back to our Surviving Java series, and it's the third week into our Christmas episodes, and we have actually got quite a extensive project planned for today. The project that I'm planning on doing, I spent the better part of about 2 days gathering resources for this project as well, just because it requires quite a lot. One of the main ones was like brown concrete, which I had to get a couple of shulkers worth, and then brown carpet, brown wall, and then just an assortment of such random blocks, which is the unfortunate side effect of when you design something creative. You don't tend to pay much attention to just how tedious it is going to be to get all of these individual types of resources. But there is something else I need to grab before going over there. Because the area that we are going to require, the footprint of it, is going to be pretty large, which means we're going to have to flatten out an area. And I'm not 100% settled or sure as to where we're going to put it. But before we get into that, I'll explain to you exactly what it is while we head on over there. Now, the buildings that we've got over there, every single time I come out my place I turn right for some reason. All the buildings that we've got over there at the moment, we've got like the stables area for like horses and the zombie horses and llamas and whatnot. And then we've got a couple, well, we've got the main sort of workshop, Santa's workshop, where the elves are making all of the presents and naughty and nice list is held. And then we've got like a little food area, like a food court that Clowd built. We've got a train station going there. We've got a nether tunnel that now leads there. We've got the big building at the back next to the ice lake, which Mac had built. I'm not too sure what we would class that one as, but it's definitely fitting within the theme. It's sort of like a secondary storehouse for that area. By the way, I've not moved the resources over from the little storage shed that we are using over to the one that I built purposely for it. So all the resources that we've got for this area are still in this little wooden box. So we may do a little bit of an upgrade on that during this episode just to make it fit in a little bit more, because it is literally just a wooden box at the moment. But yeah, we got now a Winter Express train which Clowd built, and I think it looks absolutely amazing. The snowmen on the back one is definitely a nice little touch. So this then goes around here, then it goes through a little tunnel over here, and then along here to the train station. And I like the way that he's done it. Rather than it just going appearing and disappearing through tunnels, he's got it like they can actually go through the nether as well. Which, by the way, if you're wondering, there is a mod that actually does that. It allows you to build fully customizable trains that can travel through nether portals, and that is the create mod. But nevertheless, that's probably going to be for a different series, because obviously, hello snowmen. Not sure why we've got snowmen wandering around, but you know what, he's going to be covering all of the pathways in snow, and we don't really want that. Go away. So the area that we're going to need, it is like around about a 50 by 50 foot space that it needs. And the only places that I'm thinking that could possibly fit is either up on this hill, or we would have to take the hill down by a few layers. But then we've got like a lot going on over here, and I don't want to obscure. This is the little food court that Clowd built last year, and I don't want to go obscuring this area. So I don't think putting it there, because it's got quite some height on it. It's like almost as tall, if not taller, than the Santa's workshop. By the way, we've got so many villagers that have sort of wandered over into this area now. We've got a librarian that's now keeping track rather than our elf. He's taken this job. I'm fairly sure there should be some sort of union action on that. Scabs coming in and taking their jobs. But nevertheless, let's not get into that. We need to find somewhere for this build to go. So I think that's out the thing, and then there's not really enough foot space for it to be sitting anywhere around there without it looking too cramped. There's also another thing that popped up that I hadn't seen before, which is this little centerpiece thing here, which is very oriental inspired but Christmas themed with the colours, and it's got a bell. So it's like the gongs that you find, is it China or Japan, that you find these sort of like pagoda style structures with the gongs in the middle. I think they should add a gong. That would be really cool if we could actually have one there. But yeah, so I think we can't really fit it in anywhere around here without it looking very out of place, or it taking up the skyline and obscuring the view of a lot of other builds. Look, there's another snowman. These guys are just like wandering around everywhere, and we don't really want that because they will start covering the... I'm not sure if they can cover packed ice with snow, but they will start covering all of the pathways in snow, which is what we definitely don't want. I'm not too sure why this path is broken with snow. I will have to fix that in a little bit, because that wasn't like that the other day. I'm not too sure why it is like that now. Nevertheless, what I'm thinking, let me just use my last rocket to get up high. So the only area that we've not got stuff crammed into would be this area over here, or this area over here. And I'm thinking if I flatten out this area, and because we got the ice shrink and it won't obscure the view from there, and if we plant it back far enough next to the wall, it means other things can still be built sort of in front of it. And because of the height and scale of the building that I'm planning, it won't actually obscure the build that I am going to be doing. So yeah, what I think, rather than me and ahhing, I'm probably going to get it all set out in my head, and then bring up my schematic and sort of place it and figure out exactly the area that I need to dig. And then what we can do is I'm just going to jump straight into a time lapse of me building it, and after I've built it we can then sort of do the walkthrough, because I think that's the only way that we're actually going to get this building done, and in order to have enough time in order to get other stuff done. But yeah, so I guess I'll catch you back after this pretty lengthy time lapse. So yeah, catch you back in a bit. Alright guys, so this is like a good 2 days later. It's taken me that amount of time to actually clear the area and build. It took a lot longer to flatten the area out and create a space big enough in order to fit this in, and it does fit in pretty well to the surroundings. So from like the nether portal area, you can just sort of see it peeking over the hill, and it's not looking like obtrusive or standout-ish. It sort of blends in with the rest of the scenery, even from this angle as well. It does look like it all blends in very well, and it just looks like a really big manor house, which is really nice. I've yet to extend the pathway to it. I've not gotten around to doing that. I will be doing that before we end the episode off, because it's only going to be a very short sort of intersection. I may actually take it through this hedge here and down, rather than connecting it over here like I was thinking. But yeah, let's jump out of free cam, and then I can give you a sort of walk around the actual place. So this is the main house and living quarters of the King of the Elves, which is Santa. Now, when I cleared out the area, we were left with this really unsightly sort of stone big cliff thing where basically this mountain come out. So where I cleared it out in order to make the actual building, I sort of had to think of a way, because I couldn't flatten out the rest of this, because we've got the Grinch little thing in that hill there, and then we've also got tunnels where the villagers come along underneath the ground over in this area here. I couldn't really go clearing out and flattening all of this area in order to give it like a general sort of slope. So I went for like an overhang of a packed ice sort of cliffside. I will probably go round and add some blue ice and maybe a bit more snow in the layers, and then do some icicles with some end rods coming down just to sort of finish it off. And then inside, let me go and just give you a full tour as we go around. So this is where the living quarters of all of the reindeer are going to be. Let's get rid of that torch, that shouldn't be there. So we've got Rudolph one, who obviously has the much bigger pen. I still need to fill the cauldrons with water. And then we got Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Donner, Blitzen and Cupid. Are all of the 9 reindeers in total. So that's where their living quarters are. And then on the other side we've got the actual Santa's sleigh. And this looks really good in mangrove wood, and then we've got like the railings as the actual sled things, and they connect up to the top where the reindeer should be attached. So obviously when you get the reindeer out and it flies off, they're all attached to these posts here. And then yeah, so that's all sort of come together, and we've got some brake lights on the back of it as well. No, I've removed the ones because I did want stairs there. I did initially have 4 blocks there when I first designed it. And then I asked for, like, after I'd done the outer shell, again, I asked for Cloud's help. After I put the reindeer paddocks in, and I put the sleigh in, and I put this sort of fireman's pole for Santa to come down from his bedroom, which is up there, I asked Cloud to come in and sort of fill out the rest of the interior with, like, decorational pieces. So he's got, like, a nice little scenic fish tank over here with a little seating area with some candles on the table. And then we've got a big pile of presents on a conveyor line, which is done really well using a grindstone, which then leads to the sleigh for the sleigh to be loaded. And then over here we've got like a little banner making station for, I don't know really, making banners I'm guessing. Then we've got presents, and then we've got the 2 staircases that go up either side. A bunch more gifts and decorations in both of the corners with some wreaths on the side. Got some storage boxes just behind the stairs because, well, I think in everyone's houses that tends to be, if you've got an area beneath or underneath or behind staircases, it tends to be for excess storage. But then we go upstairs and we got Santa's outfit. By the way, the outfit's the same thing that I'm wearing. It's the Netherite armor set. And it's a texture pack that just makes it look like Santa's outfit. And so we've got his little outfitting station next to the fireman's pole. So he comes out of bed, puts on his Santa's outfit and drops down the pole, because we know how Santa likes to leave everything to the last minute. Otherwise he wouldn't try to visit so many people's houses in one night. And then Cloud sort of filled out the area with, we got like a little book station here with a lectern, some more storage in the corners. He decorated it with some spruce leaves going over side, and then he created like a little kitchen area just over here, which is a nice little touch. And we've got some cookies and cake and a snow globe, I think that is the snow globe up there. And then we've got like a cooker with a sink. And then we got a fridge here. I do need to do something with the actual banner in order to make it look more like a fridge though. I've yet to find a pattern that I like that I think would suit it. And then if you come round to here, we got Santa's sleeping quarters, which sorry about that quick cut. I had a bit of a coughing fit. My throat just got extremely dry, and then I just started coughing as I was like mid-sentence. But yeah, these guys are rudely taking up Santa's bed, and that's because after I disabled the villager breeder, because we had quite a few of them wandering around, Mac actually came and re-enabled it thinking that it was disabled by accident, I'm guessing. So we have just been inundated with, there is just ridiculous amounts of villagers wandering around now. We've got some honey blocks down here as well, just to soften the landing a little bit. And then, yeah, that's pretty much the ins and outs of the Santa's house, which I thought was a nice little touch. And to be honest with you, it's nice being able to build something very, very different when it comes to block palettes compared to what you would usually build out of. Because obviously, how often do you get to build a house out of brown concrete and like candy cane inspired pillars and sort of frosting inspired roofing. It's just a nice different take on building, and it's a nice break from the usual trying to design buildings, because it's completely new block palette with completely new sort of building themes and styles and color palettes. It's just it's so nice just to be able to take a break from the normal building and actually just focus on the winter village and have it all come together as it has been coming together this year. Like, it's expanded massively compared to what it was last year. Like, last year, what did we have last year? Last year we had the storage shack, we had the pathways, we had the tree, the ice rink, the stables that I'm standing on here, the little food court over there, and the original little Santa's workshop that Cloud built there. That's all that we had last year, and it is expanded massively. I'm not sure if Mac has gone round and sort of culled a bunch of the villagers or not, but he did have like 50 or 60 of them sleeping inside this house. So I don't know if he's got rid of him. I did see that he died about a good 10 times to iron golems. Yeah, so there's still a fair few villagers here, but nevertheless it's nowhere near as bad as it was. Yeah, we've got a few in here also. And then he did actually put stairs in on my build just over here, so that villagers would stop opening the doors on the end of the bunk beds, and that they'd actually go up the stairs and lay on the top bunks of the bunk beds. And it seems to have worked really well, because there's always villagers now in the bunk beds, although some of them are sort of cheaty by like sleeping halfway through the wall. But nevertheless, it's just more a graphical glitch than anything else. But yeah, that's pretty much... I don't know what else to do on this village. There's a couple of different little bits and pieces, but no other really big main builds like that, or the one back there that I need to work on. And I don't really want to go doing a lot of armor stand stuff in there like I have done with the workshop at the back with all of the elves, just because otherwise this area will start becoming a little bit unplayable, because the spammage of the player heads is a little bit crazy, especially with the armor stands. Like, all of our decorational pieces are using like the custom player heads for the presents and snow globes and all the decorations along the paths. We've got like little penguins dotted around, and yeah, eventually them sort of entities will add up and it will just start getting a little bit laggy, which we're trying to avoid happening. But nevertheless, what I will do before I end the episode off, I actually want to extend this pathway quickly, and then I also want to put a decent, well, a better looking shell out around the storage shed, because this is just looking really, really miserable, and it's I don't want to tear it down. The thing is, because it's been here since it was the first thing that was here, because we had to use one of the houses as a temporary storage system. And it's been here since we started working on the village, and everything's built up around it. So I think I'd rather just sort of build just a little bit of a better shell. I'm not going to go massive because I don't want to obstruct anyone else's build from the portal. So just maybe a few blocks higher with a different roof and a different outer shell. So yeah, let me do that pathway and do the shelter here, and then we'll see how it all looks. Alright, so we've now got this linked up to our pathway, and yeah, rather than taking it on to this section, having the path curves as soon as it come out, I've had it just go straight and then up this little incline here, and I've just separated the bush that was there, moved it over, added a couple more lampposts and a bunch more of the decorations. I do need to come around and put barrier blocks above these berries, otherwise villagers will start killing themselves on them. It's just the way they are. And then after connecting this now is all polished and done. I'm happy to call that building complete. I went and put a new shell over our little storage area, just like I explained before. I didn't stray too far from the original shape or structure, because obviously I didn't want to make it into a big thing in order to stop it from like, well, my god, I'm sort of like adding double negatives in a sentence there. I didn't want to make it too big to obstruct the view of other people's builds, so I've just extended the roof just ever so slightly, just added a little bit more shape, changed over the block palette, added some decorations on the sides, so then we've got the end rods lighting it up as well, and we're using dark oak green roof with the sort of gingerbread walls, and it just ties in a lot nicer with the rest of the buildings, and now it's not just looking like a little wooden shed that's on the end of a broken up path. But we have got the original storage sign, and we've got the original doors, and I didn't move any of the chests or shulkers, and downstairs is still the same as it was. So it's still our little storage room, but it's just got a better looking shell over it to sort of not be such an eyesore. I have actually got a star banner. Where can you go? You know what, you can probably go up top, can't you? Can I get some blocks, please? Is something that can be done like right now? Yeah, and there we go. That's a nice little final touch to it. That banner's just been hanging inside ever since we put the star on the tree. We had another one of them left over, so yeah, that doesn't look too bad there. We're happy as with it there. But yeah, nevertheless, I think that's definitely going to do it. I think that's all the time we've definitely got for today's episode, because it's probably already stretched on a little bit longer than what I was planning on doing. The building itself and the clearing took so much longer than I thought it was going to take, but I'm quite happy with the build itself. Obviously, I wanted to get the most out of being able to design buildings with this build palette before Christmas is over, and it would just look really, really out of place. Not unless you wanted to do some sort of like I don't know, some sort of Alice in Wonderland theme type builds where you could go crazy with the block palettes like this. It's the only other style, like fairy tale style, that I could think of, but even that would still look a little bit weird. The only thing I'm thinking of is the sort of like the Wicked Witches with their houses made of gingerbread to lure the kids in before they cook them and eat them. Grimm's version of fairy tales, not the nice cuddly kind that you tend to read your kids. But nevertheless, hopefully you've enjoyed today's episode, and hopefully I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye bye. Yum 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 yum.